Welcome to Local SEO Today. My name is John Vong, and today we have Roger Murphy here.
Hello.
He's our VP of Sales, and this episode is going to be to really get to know Roger Murphy and really figure out what his journey was like to really start here at Local SEO.
Thank you for your interest, John.
Thank you. So currently, your role is the Vice President of Sales here at Local SEO Search.
That is correct. So how it works is we have a great team. I'm in charge of whether it is the sales support team or any of our team members that sort of reach out to businesses. I coordinate with them, but really I'm the point of contact for any business owner that is wanting information about local or SEO, I guess, in general.
So tell me a little bit about how long have you been here, and a little bit about your career growing up.
All right. So I am actually approaching, I guess, finishing 3 years with local SEO. That'll be sometime a little later this year, into the summertime. But you and I actually met about 12 years ago, and we were both working at corporate. We were both doing Bell Canada Yellow Pages.
Yes.
And myself, I had actually really spent my entire career there. So I dealt with probably somewhere near 10,000 businesses all across Ontario. I did a little bit out west also in the Yukon one particular year, but for the most part, it was all GTA, Southern Ontario businesses that were needing ready-to-buy customers, and the phone directory from 1982 right up till, pick a time, even 10 years ago was the go-to place for businesses. So that's what I looked after.
So that's great. So even before that, let's take a step back to get to know.
Sure.
What was your upbringing?
Yeah.
Where did you?
Yep, I grew up in Kingston. So with all the great hockey players that have come out of Kingston, including Don Cherry, I grew up there, and my father and mother had a small business, a butcher, not a butcher, but kind of a fish market. But they offered some other products too, but it was called Murphy's Seafoods. And so basically supplied and provided on a retail basis dinner. We had a restaurant, we had a takeout, and we had a fish market where people could buy their own product and take it home. So age 12, I started there.
So age 12. So
Yep.
Throughout your adolescence, teenage years,
Yes.
Were you working there during school hours, after school, summertime? What was
So I always said I was conscripted into it because I was told one day when I was 12, you're coming to work on Saturday. I'm like, I am? Yes, you're coming to work. So my dad, we all, there are 5 of us, there's 5 siblings. So we all had a position doing something part-time and full-time. So summer times were full-time, and then during school, really all through high school, it would be weekends, and then maybe after school, you put in hours. So yes.
So what kind of roles did you play there? What kind of positions?
Yes, it was interesting because it was everything from customer service to customer care to, I suppose, sales. But whether I was a cook also. So our restaurant was on the 2nd floor, and some people might remember Murphy's from, it was around for 50 years, but the 2nd floor had 72 odd seats, so seating for 72 people, and the cooking and the fish market were on the main floor. So any given evening, certainly when I was in later high school, I was preparing the foods, cooking. Waitresses would deliver the food to the tables, of course. So I was a head cook or head chef, but also I did retail and sold, over-the-counter product to customers also.
So throughout your high school years, you were working and going to school, and then shortly afterwards, did you go to school locally, or what?
I did, yes. I went to college and I took business administration with a major in marketing. I seem to always gravitate towards the marketing. I always seem to enjoy that. And
where did you attend?
In Kingston also. So I stayed local.
Were you also working at that time?
Yep. So I never stopped, and it helped pay for tuitions and all that stuff. And it certainly built character. But I really believe, when I came to Toronto, I graduated looking for the job in the big city. I really believe that all those efforts I put in from even age 12, like all through high school, I think impressed the HR people at the company because they saw that I was somewhat of a self-starter. I worked, I had gained experience dealing with people, money, customer service issues. I dealt with all that stuff.
So throughout your educational years, did you live at home still, or
Yes.
did you move out on your own?
I moved to Toronto and out on my own. That's really when it happened. So.
And that's when you first started looking for your real job outside of your family business.
Correct, yeah. I was, I guess, being based in Kingston still, I was sending resumes and doing phone calls, and I set up shop here at a, my brother's place when he was here. But I was reaching out and doing hundreds of outreach, dropping in and dropping off resumes and mailing, trying to get that job.
So what was your first kind of job?
First one, I landed at Bell Canada at the Yellow Pages. So 22, I started there. They brought me into the training session or the training group. I just happened to be in the right spot at the right time. And 32 years later, I retired or took the package from there.
Wow, 32 years.
32 years and about 10,000 businesses.
So over those 32 years, what has happened? Like, obviously things have changed in terms of what you've seen, in terms of local businesses, how they, advertise, how they generate revenue and get leads. But, and you've worked with so many different verticals, different markets. Is there any tips? Is there any suggestion? Like, you've talked and got to know so many business owners.
I would say truthfully, is you need to be able to change direction, pivot as they call. That's one of the popular terms these days. But you must be able to react to what's going on, because even today, and here we're in 2019, we're talking about robotics are coming on so fast that no matter what business, what industry you're in, you've got to get ready to be able to roll with the punches, because things are changing out there constantly. But there are some similarities for sure in terms of business today as it was even 37 years ago in 1982 when I started. Every business needs new customers, and every business needs ready to buy customers. So it's like, where do I go? If it changed, we certainly know today that Google's a really big part of it. So I would say to business owners, you need to be flexible, keep your eye on the prize, and just realize that there's going to be change all the time.
And you've met with thousands of business owners.
Yes.
Are there certain traits that makes a successful business owner? Like, what kind of things resonated with you?
Yes, there were certain ones I met over the years that you could just tell they were visionary. They treated their staff extremely well. They really believed in, my staff is my main resource. Like, that's the biggest benefit I have of my company is my staff. So it was always very impressive to see a super run business, well-oiled machine with great staff, with a great product, with great customer service and customer care. It was always a pleasure, because it's like, it's easy to help a business get more customers when they're doing all the right things.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
And then in terms of evolution, in terms of the print directory of the Yellow Pages, did they ever evolve? And were there challenges in the corporate world?
I'm sure every big company has issues, and everyone's trying, whether it's the newspaper industry, whether it's the Yellow Page industry, they're all trying to find their way in this new digital world. The print Yellow Pages is still there, and it's still being delivered. It's a different type of demographic that use it. They also have an online product, of course, the yellowpages.ca, which is very popular also. But the reality is that every business has that huge challenge, because Google is where it's at. That's where people are searching today.
So do you believe they did evolve as quickly? Did they not pivot? Because they ruled the industry in terms of local search, really.
Yep, I would say they did an admirable job, but also realizing that huge companies are like huge ocean liners. You just don't change direction quickly. You can't stop them and change and whatever. So the larger they are, the more challenges they have. So they have been doing their best. It's still a viable business. I think they're 800 million in sales still a year, but you need to realize where people are searching today. It's kind of like the Wayne Gretzky effect. Wayne Gretzky, he always talked about, he would go to where the puck was going to be, not where it was. He had that forethought. So that's what you business owners watching this today, you have to be thinking, where is that puck going? I got to get over that.
Yeah, so, you've been with us now for over 3 years.
Yes.
And has there been any insight? Have you learned anything that's a little bit different from how a business is operated? Because over the years, you've dealt with thousands of business owners, right? And now you're starting here at Local SEO Search,
Sure.
and we're really just starting off.
Yes, I would say there's truthfully more similarities than differences to what I was doing in the past, but it is the same type of customer that is looking for the same type of service, and that's what we're providing here. So that's really what I've noticed. I've noticed that there's actually more similarities than there are differences. I will say too that it just it's just an interesting factoid. Advertising has decreased in price and in cost over the last decade. The same with laptop computers and monitors, computers, telephones. Everything seems to be less today than what it used to cost. So today, digitally, you can cover so much ground with quality SEO. That's what we do, search engine optimization. But you can literally have customers from around the world seeing your website at a fraction of what it would have cost in the traditional media days.
Is it because of the medium itself, like just the reach?
I think so. I think it's because everyone knows what Google is. The world is literally connected, and we're getting more connected all the time. I mean, we have LTE today, and I guess in 2 years, 5G is coming, which is going to be instantaneous loading of stuff on your computer. So
yeah, and before, I'm sure it was snail mail, right?
Yes.
Like communication, there was no email, there was no text.
That's it.
There was no video.
It was a whole different world for sure.
Yeah.
But it's very similar today. It's so different, and it's exactly the same. So just a few things have changed. So major things.
So in terms of Local SEO Search, I mean, here, are you enjoying what you're doing here?
I do very much enjoy it. And I say to customers, I see them, I said, I really enjoy getting out to see business owners and talking about business strategies, because if I have anything to share, it's that I've dealt with everyone from undertakers to car dealers to the legal profession to the health profession to finance. I've dealt with so many different verticals over the years, and I always try to take a little something from each one of them in terms of what worked for that business, and I try and be able to take that and share with other clientele to talk about how to train your staff, or how to approach pricing, or how to approach promotions out there to get more interest in your business.
And then as a sales professional yourself, I mean, over the years, has sales kind of changed, evolved? What kind of differences has it been working at the big corporate versus in today's world?
I would say there's been a change certainly over the years where we had a story to tell at Yellow Pages. Everyone knew what it was. It's just a matter of what size ad do you want. But over time, with so many other, channels and other forms of advertising that have come along, it's an education process now, and it's really consultative. So when I go see a client, I'll sit down with them. I really try and educate them first, because it is the world we live in is such a complicated one. Simple concept, which is, I want to be on Google and I want to be highly ranked. How do I get there? That is the technical, that's the real, challenge. So you need a good company, and I think we got a great team that knows what they're doing. The developers, the graphics people, the blog writers, the editors. We have so many great staff that know technically what to do to get that website ranking.
Perfect. And then on a more personal level, Roger.
John.
Tell me a little bit about your, do you have children?
Yes, thank you. I have. Thank you for asking. I've got 3 daughters, all in their, 2 in their 20s, 1 in just turned 30, and they're all off doing their careers now. It's very heartwarming to see that. But so I've had a great time. We did everything from girls hockey to skiing where we could, try to do a lot of family activities, so that's been very good.
And currently, are they still residing locally with you, or are they kind of spread their wings?
each of them, three kids, 3 different cities. So they're all different places, but but they're all making their mark out there in the world.
So where do you see yourself in, say, 5 or 10 years from today?
Well, that's a tough one. I mean, I enjoy what I do. I also enjoy the summers here in Canada. So we have a little cottage out in Kingston, as I told you, where I grew up. So we're out there an awful lot in the summertime to enjoy that. You got to stay active, which I am. You got to stay, physically fit, so to speak, because if you don't, you lose it, so to speak. If you don't use it, you lose it. So I really enjoy that. So I would say, besides enjoying life and staying healthy, and then seeing different parts of the world that I've never seen, and we've had some great experiences here at Local SEO. Part of our team, they're all over, so we've gone to visit and we've taken the team and seen different parts of the world, so it's been really fantastic.
So I'm glad. And do you see any changes in terms of like how local search has kind of evolved over the years? Do you see things changing?
Yes, for sure there's more automation coming in, and for sure AI, artificial intelligence, is getting involved in it. There's lots of automated systems out there. I still believe that business owners will appreciate a human interaction like what we do. We go out and sit with our clients.
Yes.
But I do see automation coming in. But the more automation comes in, I think still we as consumers and we as business people still are going to crave that human connection. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, and I'm glad we had this conversation, because really it's, getting to know who you are makes a huge impact and difference. And I'm glad to be a part of Local SEO Search. I'm glad
to be here also.
Journey.
Thank you for your interest today.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining us here at Local SEO today.
Thank you.